We're going to go over to Newaygo County right now, up to Frankenmuth, Michigan. But we're going to run down to Birmingham right now, Birmingham, Michigan. Northwood University, and go over to South Haven, Ypsilanti, Eastern Michigan University. You'll be hearing us from all over the place, but that's the beauty of this broadcast.
Now, from the studios in downtown Lansing, it's Chris Holman's Business Beat.
It is, and we are in our studios in downtown Lansing, and we're very fortunate to have on the line with us Margaret Trimmer. She's the Director of Communications and Corporate Citizenship at Delta Dental of Michigan. And first of all, plaudits to Delta Dental for even having that position. I think it's really cool the way Delta kind of reaches out and wants to be part of the community, Margaret, and it's always good to have you on. How you doing?
I'm doing well. I'm doing very well. And in fact, we've actually morphed my position, I think, to be even more impactful. I am now Vice President of Strategic Partnership.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, when you think about the work we're doing in the community, it's not so much us as the do-gooders. It's really partnering with others who are having an impact, and by that partnership, strengthening and intensifying the good work in the places where we do business.
Well, it is, in fact, and you guys have had a long-standing be a great corporate neighbor, and you know one of the things that you focus on is business growth through economic development and placemaking. Give me a little bit of that.
Well, we're all in a war for talent, right? And talent needs place, and place has to be exciting to attract the most exciting, best talent in the marketplace. And so we believe investing in cool spaces, investing in those things that are catalytic when it comes to economic energy are in our best interest and in our customers' best interest. The one thing that seems to keep corporate CEOs and others who hire up at night is this need for the best and the brightest to keep our businesses growing and thriving into the next decade. And, I mean, it's no joke. We look at the insurance industry. We are, as an industry, in need of about 500,000 new workers beginning in 2020. And, you know, I think I mentioned that on Mackinac this past year. That's January, okay? We don't have a lot of time to waste. So that's why we kind of put our stake in the ground in the communities where we do business and invest in those things that make them great places to live, to work, to play.
Well, you've been pretty marvelous about that. And like I said, great corporate neighborship is kind of the forte of your organization out there. Now, your connection to the recently opened Rotary Park in Lansing, which is obviously, you know, kind of where your headquarters are located in the Lansing area. Tell me about that, because that's been a tremendous piece of work on a waterfront that needed it.
Oh, desperately needed it. And I think that the surge of energy we've seen over the last couple months since the Rotary Park project opened is really hopeful. Congratulations to the Community Foundation. Lori Balmer moved some major mountains to build this project and to engage many other partners in the process of developing that area. We're not in it just to build a pretty park, however. We believe the activation of that space is very critical to the future of the downtown development that we've already seen. Pat Gillespie has put a lot of energy and creativity into making downtown a cool place. You see his apartments, his lofts, they're full, and people want a downtown that's exciting. We're not exciting yet when it comes to after 5. So part of what we're hoping to do is draw the young professionals down for fun, engaging activities year-round. We enlisted the help of the Urban Land Institute. They came in and did an analysis in the July, I believe it was, talking to all kinds of stakeholders in our community about what's possible down there, what are our assets, how to best assemble those assets and make the most of this park. They'll be offering a report to us in October with some recommendations about how to activate that space and how to, really just capitalize on the assets that the waterfront is.
Well, there's a little work ahead, too, because not all of us are winter lovers. In fact, I happen to be, but keeping a vibrance down there in that great facility through the winter is going to be a challenge. It's going to take a little bit of planning, but I know you guys are in the middle of that. One of the things I wanted to talk about real quickly, you were instrumental in bringing Dennis Archer Jr. out for our MBN Speakers Series. He did a marvelous job. You're an old friend of his. What were your takeaways from that?
Well, first of all, wasn't he great?
Yeah.
He talk about a guy who can break it down in real and fun terms. I mean, one of the takeaways, and this is one of the lessons I learned from Dennis in the decade that I've known him. Don't be afraid of edgy. Don't be afraid of, as he put it, sexy. Lansing can be sexy. Detroit is sexy. Why can't we be sexy? And by that, it's not about anything risque. It's about taking your best assets and leading with them and creating a cool vibe. This is a phenomenal community. I've lived here over my lifetime about 15 or so years on and off, right? I'm back now. And we've always been just a really comfortable place with maybe a little bit of an inferiority complex. And I think what I took away from Dennis is, don't underestimate. Think big and don't listen to your critics. Put earplugs and blinders on when it comes to plowing forward and making the most of what you've got.
Well,
so he's done it. He also imparts a powerful lesson about when you do well, you're responsible for doing good. And I think that community vibe is here, but it doesn't always come to the surface. A lot of times in this town, and I've seen it both in this decade and in the 90s and early 2000s, if one business jumps in to invest or to own a project, everyone else kind of keeps their hands off. Well, that's Jackson's thing. That's the accident fund's thing. That's Delta's thing. You know what? In Detroit, in other cities, when the big businesses in town jump in, everybody joins them.
Yeah.
And so I'd love to see that kind of unity here, that if Jackson does it, by golly, we want to be part of it. Delta does it, come one, come all. That's the mindset that brings us all up.
Well, you're leading the way on that, Margaret. You guys are leading the way on that, and I greatly appreciate what you're doing here in the community in the state of Michigan. Margaret Trimmer, Vice President of Strategic Partnerships at the Delta Dental of Michigan. You're listening to the Michigan Business Beat on the Michigan Business Network. I'm Chris Holman. Stick around. There's a lot ahead.